people going to think of our new buttermilk crispy chicken? Let's find out.
It's probably the best sandwich I've ever had.
It's super crispy, but it's also really juicy.
So would you guys come back?
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, here's our card. The location is on the back. It's McDonald's? What?
What? Oh, get out
No way.
Wait, seriously?
Try some buttermilk crispy chicken. It's right around the corner at McDonald's. Buttermilk.
This is Brad Atwell, WCOU Sports, back with Coach Jeff Griffith on Ask the Coach. And Coach, just as we talked a little bit and went over some highlights of the game, gonna share just a few stats here from our offensive side. We ran 51 plays with a total of 273 yards last night, and we had 29 rushes for 85 yards, and then we were 11 passes for about 188-90 yards, and out of that, 1 rushing touchdown, and then we had 2 passing touchdowns. So, and then we had 7 penalties last night for 65 yards. I don't know if we're becoming more comfortable or what's going on, but it seems like that the yards in the penalties just keep going up, and just some of those were just some very inopportune times last night where that we could have made a big play either defensively or offensively. And when you see the flag land on the field, you're just thinking, oh, no, it's coming back, or we're going to give them a shorter field.
Well, I think that after me watching the film last night, after the game was over, some of our flags, we've earned, and they're good calls. But I tell you what, there's especially a couple of the holding calls. I mean, if you pull someone down and and it affects the outcome of the play, sure, that's what needs to be called. But, we're getting some inconsistent calls, I think, on some things. And not just for us. When I say inconsistent, I'm not talking for us. I'm talking about for both teams. And I don't know. I mean, we had a few of those last night. And in the last 2 weeks, we've really had a lot of penalties that we weren't really getting the first 2 or 3 weeks. And a couple of times they've really hurt us badly and put us behind the sticks. And, we're not a team that can handle being behind the sticks due to penalties. And those are things we're constantly talking to our players about. And, we've got to get better at and start reducing those penalties, because it's not like it's something where, it's a 5-yard penalty. We're getting the 10-yard and 15-yard variety that we've just got to clean up, and we can't do that.
Going back to kind of what, has drove us up to this point is our rushing game. And last night, our rushing game, we just wasn't able to get the plays moving as well as we have. And part of that is because, Allen County's good defensively, especially up front. And but Ellis was 13 rushes for 49 yards. Andrew was 11 rushes for 22 yards. Stanton Gott was 4 rushes for 8 yards, and then made 1 rush for a yard. So there again on rushing the football, we did okay. But last night, with being able to have that other receiver back on the other side of the field, that made things a little different. And there again, Ellis had 3 catches for 16 yards, and just had another little play there where he just got one thrown over his head that could have ended up being a 30 or 40 yards, because there was nobody in the middle of the field. And then you got caught 2 for 7 yards. We already said Mabe had 3 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. Ty Hay, two catches there for 69 yards. And then, of course, Mason Perkins 1 catch for 2 yards with a touchdown there in the beginning. So when they have to honor that run all the time, then there's going to be other things that's going to be open on the field.
There is, and we've got to do a better job up front blocking consistently. I thought at times we had some creases in there, and Ellis did a good job. Sometimes there just wasn't anything there. And, part of that is breakdowns on our part, but part of it is sometimes you got to give the other team credit. And, as I've said, Allen has some big kids inside, and they do a good job defensively and got after us in our run game. But I think the most telling thing there, in those statistics that I think bodes well for us going, further the last half of the year is the variety of people that touched the ball in our passing game last night. You're talking about 5 or 6 different guys that caught balls and made plays with the ball once they caught it, and and that's going to help us going forward. And of course, Andrew's getting confident in throwing the ball to other people, and as opposed to just 2 to 3 weeks ago, we were going to throw it to Nick or it wasn't going to be done. So we're making progress in that area. And of course, as we've already talked, having Ty back on the other side really helps our passing game and spreads the defense out. And I think over the next few weeks that in turn, hopefully will help our running game as well to get an extra guy out of the box.
Just to kind of give an idea kind of how the night played out in the first half, we had 23 plays for 119 yards. 14 of those were rushes for 64 yards, and then we were 4 for 6 of passing with only 54 yards the first half and 4 first downs. And then you come to the second half, we had 28 plays for 154 yards, and when you stop and look at that rushing, we were 15 rushes for only 21 yards the second half, but then we were 7 of 12 throwing the ball for 149 yards. So that lets you know that they did adjust their defense. They were going to stop that run that second half, and then it caused them to have to open up some, and then we kind of got to rolling a little bit. And when you do that, when things begin to work and people make an adjustment, it's good to have another weapon or two that hey, we can do something different besides we don't have to run it every time.
Well, and that's right. And we're going to throw it. We're going to either run it depending on what where they put their extra guy. If they're playing a 2-deep look where they only got 5 or 6 guys in the box, and that's where we want to run the football. But if they're going to crowd the line of scrimmage, we have to take advantage of that and throw it. And I thought we did that in the second half last night. It helped us that we put together that long drive and got us within 1 score, and then defensively we got off the field after a first down and got the ball right back and gave us an opportunity to tie the game or take the lead on the conversion. And of course we threw the ball a little more in the second half, mostly because we had to. And when we were down 2 scores at the half, and I thought we did a good job. I was extremely proud of our kids the way we didn't panic at the half. I thought at the Monroe County game, even though it was, just a week ago, even though it was just 9-0, I thought we kind of panicked at the half, and we didn't do that at the half of this game. We were up there, and it was a point of emphasis this week, with our coaching staff and our players. That, bad things are going to happen in a football game, and good things are going to happen, and you got to handle both of them the same way. You can't get too high or too low, and I thought we did a good job of that, and I thought that was the reason we got back in the game there in the second half last night.
I thought we came back out of the locker room at halftime. I was kind of worried because of we were down and had a chance to score there before half, and we didn't score and had to turn the ball back over on downs. And I really thought that I thought, man, we've got to come back out of this locker room. We've got to drive the ball down the field, and we've got to score here. And that's exactly what we were able to come back out. We were able to put a drive together defensively. We stopped them. So that was great, and I saw more energy in that second half. I've not seen that kind of energy on the sideline probably since our Taylor County game, and so that was good to see that, hey, we're competing here and we're still in this ball game.
Well, we came out with a sense of urgency because we knew the importance of getting the ball and trying to get some points on the board on that first drive, because that was something that we talked about. If we can take this drive and get a score here, it's anybody's game after that. And of course, I thought our kids took that and ran with it in the second half, and I can't ask for anything more than what our kids gave in the second half in terms of trying to get back into the football game and then having a chance to win it. And we lose a football game 20-19, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty disappointing, but at the same time, I'm pleased with our effort and our competitiveness, and we made some progress in those areas last night. But we're not happy with losing, and whether it's by 1 point or 40 points, it's still a loss on the record.
All right. Well, you're hearing from Coach Griffith, and if you'll stay tuned after we hear from our sponsors, we'll be back on WCLU Sports on Ask the Coach.